The Queen Walk is not for the faint of heart or for those who tread lightly. When we step, you hear us coming because one queen can sound like a stampede. There is purpose to be fulfilled. And taking a half step is like taking two steps back. We didn't ask to be royal, we asked for strength. We asked for stability. We asked for all of this. We didn't ask for broken hearts or tenacity or to be the face of reconciliation. No. We asked for faith, blessings, lollipops, and rainbows, a fairy tale, not this dream come true. The queen walk is so heavy, our stiletto steps crack the crystal stair. And when it breaks, our crowns crack the glass ceiling. And when that breaks, we just sweep it up so that no one will notice. Piece by piece, we seal what was once broken. We've learned how to collect ourselves so that no one mistakes it for trash. We've learned how to heal ourselves. We've learned how to be this thing we did not ask for. We've learned to be queen. And only we can speak the language enough so that other queens will understand it. And only we can say the things that are going to fill the cracks in our hearts and penetrate the holes in our souls. Only we can raise royalty. Only we can raise each other. We are queen, the unproclaimed rulers of households and lands and kingdoms, the adhesive that holds our communities together. The solution in places where we are not even sure of the answer, we are queen and we are who we've been waiting for. So we are heart strong and we walk heavy and we talk softly, but we speak mightily. And this walk, the Queen's Walk, is ours. What's up, y'all? So, you are tuned into the Queen Network right here on A Radio. I am your host, Queen Fierce, and I'm just so elated to be here with you today. Oh my gosh. Thank you and you and you and you so much for tuning in. You only had a 10-minute wait today. 10 minutes or so while we figure out the technical stuff, but I'm grateful to be here. I'm thankful for Philly, who always gets me up and rolling each time I walk into the stew. And I made it. I made it, y'all. Here we are. I'm trying to get my computer working for y'all because you know how I love to whatever. You know how I love to interact with y'all on the YouTube and the Facebook Live. So thank you so much for tuning in this day and every day. Well, every Queen Crush Wednesday, right here on A Radio. I am your host, Queen Fierce, Queen PHIERCE. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. You want to know why? Because all things in gratefulness. That's why I'm just eternally grateful for everything that I have experienced. Yo, 2020. We said we was gonna bust 2020 wide open. I feel like 2020 is busting us wide open. 2020 is the year that is showing you what you are really made of. Honey. Listen, I'm already starting. I didn't introduce the show. I said you listen to the Queen Network, y'all, where we celebrate, educate, motivate, and elevate the everyday queen that is you and that is me. I say it every time. It's not just my platform, but this is our platform. So if you or someone you know is a queen who should be right here Live in the stew, sitting to the left of me. We are awaiting, I guess, now. Then please make sure you hit me up because I just love meeting new queens in the stew and catching up with old ones. It's part of my, I don't know, top 10 favorite things to do. So you can always hit me up on social media. I'm Queen Fierce on Instagram, Queen PHIERCE, and Facebook. You can shoot me an email, queenfierce@gmail.com, or my personal favorite, slide in my DMs because why? You know I like that. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. How you feeling, Philly? I'm feeling all right with myself. Yes. You got you have to. You have to because I feel like that's where it starts. It really doesn't matter if what everybody else thinks you're okay or if you're telling somebody, like, "Oh, I'm okay," because people brush that off. If you feel all right with yourself, I don't really think the rest matters because I feel like feeling all right with yourself is a big part of being aligned. It's a big part of being aligned. So there you go. There you have it. I'm glad we're all feeling all right with ourselves. And then as soon as I get the computer up and running, I can kind of interact with y'all a little bit. Little bit. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. So thanks for tuning in. This is where we connect queens consciously. So we are building a network of queens happening right before your eyes. So I'm grateful for each and every person that I come into contact with. I was told that you should value every relationship, treat each relationship like gold. Family members, people you come into contact with, people that you decide to be in relationships with. Uh, and oh, I forgot my flowers. And friendships. So treat each relationship like gold, y'all. It's a thing. It's a thing because you never know. You never know who's the next person that you never know if the next person could be the person, like the person that you're supposed to be connected to for whichever like avenue of your life, professionally or spiritually, um or even relationally, that spark in your eye, that light at the end of the tunnel. They are out there, honey, and they are roaming this earth looking for you. So I think they are. They are. And I feel like I have a lot of I feel likes today, but I feel like when you are in alignment, then that's when things start to line up for you. They don't call it alignment for anything. You ever need a alignment on your car and you let go of the wheel and the car just like start bearing to the left a little bit and you be like, "Ooh, I need an alignment." And you get that alignment, and then when you get that alignment, you could drive. You don't even have to hold the wheel. The car is just like rolling straight down. I don't even gotta hold the wheel. I'm in alignment. My path is already made for me. I might have to pump my brakes a couple times because you don't want to hit nothing, smack into nothing in your path. But I ain't going to the left and I ain't going to the right. And there you have it. Oh, there's my live feed. Here I am. Let's see who's on for me right now. Hey, y'all. Hey, appreciate y'all. Okay. So before we dive into it, let me give a great big shout out to my sponsor. That's Philly's cue for put my sponsor information up on the screen. Yes, you guessed it. New Voices for Reproductive Justice. They are the proud sponsors of the Queen Network. bringing this goodness to you, this fulfillment to you each and every Queen Crush Wednesday. I'm grateful for our connection. Thank you, New Voices. New Voices is a nonprofit organization who is on the front lines for repro justice. So, um, their mission is to advocate for brown women and girls across the Western Pennsylvania, Ohio, and now in Philadelphia regions. They do have a Philadelphia office. And a little birdie told me that the founder and CEO has now made Philadelphia her home base. So I'm looking forward to all of the beautiful and wonderful things that New Voices has lined up for 2020. And I'm grateful for our connection. If you would like to be a part, donate, volunteer, you can visit them online at newvoicespittsburgh.org. That is newvoicespittsburgh.org. So, tragic event happened this week. Everybody knows about it. The Kobe Bryant. Sad, sad, sad. So I was in church, and like the second church was over, my brother walks over to me and was like, Kobe Bryant just died. And I was like, wait, what? And the helicopter crash. And I'm like, wait, what again? And it just sounds like something that is on a movie. Like, I don't know if y'all can believe it, but I can hardly believe it. I think it's starting to settle in a little bit more now that we're on like day 3 of a Kobe-less world. But I definitely want to honor every person who was on that helicopter, because it wasn't just Kobe Bryant, it was him and one of his daughters. So now there's a family who doesn't have, a father, a brother, a husband, and also a sister, a daughter. How hurtful is that? And the other family, who is apparently this coach and his wife and daughter. So I was like, oh, so basically like a whole family um was also, and the other 4 people on board, and the pilot. We're not hearing much about the pilot, but I just want to say that my heart is like, no, thank you. I have this wonderful concoction that I made for me and Lena. Actually, that's why I needed red wine. Um, yeah. So I just want to say that my heart is like, okay, all all over the place. You might as well. You really should just walk, because that's one of it's one. They're gonna see you. Philly's gonna be on camera, y'all. I told them, so it's okay. Go do what you got to do. She she trying to sneak. Tell her it's not working. It's not working. Anyway, so I wanted to make sure that we give honor to Queen Vanessa and the other 3 queens that she is raising during this time. This is no laughing matter. Really? I know, but it made me laugh while I was talking about the tragedy. This is what we shenanigans in the stew today. Shenanigans in the stew. So, thank you. It's serious. I didn't, but I did watch TD Jakes on the Breakfast Club talking about his thoughts on the tragedy and how to manage grief during this time. Well, grief overall, but in relation to this incident, especially when things seem so unexplained. And shout out to the Breakfast Club. They gave a really good interview. and TD Jakes. I love to hear him speak because he talks a lot about um, your mindset and motivation. And I was talking to my mom earlier. Actually, me and my family had a pretty in depth conversation around this interview. And I was telling my mom earlier that there was a season when I was listening to TD Jakes, Dr. Miles Monroe, and Les Brown because it was all about motivation and mindset. So I do appreciate what he has to say, but he comes from such a practical standpoint, and I feel like what he had to say regarding grief was very realistic. Was very realistic. I think people, and I shared this with my sister-in-law because she said that the what he had to say actually is helping her process the grief that she's dealing with her own father's passing, which happened about a year ago. And my thoughts are grief. People tend to put grief in a box as if it's supposed to look a certain way or last a certain amount of time. Like, oh, you know, if you're not upset enough, you know, like, oh, you don't cry, or they moved on too quickly. Like if you see somebody smiling on Instagram after their uh, wife or husband just passed away, what are they happy for? Like let that person live. Maybe they are just finding these are their ways of coping because that's what grief is or should be your own personal process with coping with either tragedy or things that affect you in a large way. So, if you haven't already, I encourage you to check out the interview because there were some really um, practical things said regarding grief and when people grieve collectively and even as individuals. Um, yeah, so that's the news on that. And then to slide forward, and since it's public information, well, I just found out today on a more local level, a good friend suffered tragedy in her family. So I also feel like when things happen on a global or international level, it kind of overshadows everything else that is going on. Like, did anybody peep that the school district building was on fire this week? Yeah. Nobody. I'm like, well, how did the fire start again? Nobody knows what happened. So my brother sends me this link, like school district building on fire. And my dad works in the school district building. And he was like, wow, I just left there. So like yesterday I followed up with him, like, well, what happened with the fire? And he was like, it's so strange. Either nobody knows or nobody is saying anything, but everybody is really wrapped up in the whole Kobe incident tragedy. And I'm like, wow, it's really amazing how when something of this magnitude happens, it can really overshadow everything else. But the fact of the matter is, and this is a point that TD made, life goes on. And even though that can be seen as insensitive, it really is the truth. The world is not going to stop spinning just because someone doesn't exist in this realm anymore. And we have to learn how to cope with that piece of it. So, um, just to bring you back to reality that tragedies happen all the time. Good friend of mine lost her brother-in-law to a hit and run, and their his daughter, her niece, is just a beautiful young queen. She's probably 7 years old and has such a old, not old, I don't want to say old soul, but the perspective she has about what happened to her father is as if her spirit was prepared for this realm before she got here. So I just want to send love to the way of the Tony family. And yeah, blessings to y'all because tragedy is happening all around. I'm trying to tell y'all if you supposed to blow 2020 wide open, 2020 came to blow you wide open. And it is here. This is the year that is going to show you what you are really made of. So I hope that happens with grace for you in this season. Ah, shay. All right, it's a lot going on here. Ah, shay. Okay, so I'm trying to wait for Queen Lena before I pour this mix, but I feel like I need to get a little something popping. I don't even know what this tastes like. I just poured stuff in here, so I don't have my pretty glass. Don't kill me. My pretty. I tried to be ready for y'all. Oh, that's right. Okay. A little sweet, but we'll work with it. I wanted to give a shout out to my sister friend, Crystal McFadden. She has written and self published her first book called Picking Up the Pieces of Your Heart. And I started reading it. It is so conversational and practical. It actually sounds like she's sitting there having a conversation with you. Um, and so I just wanted to say out loud that I am super proud of her. And if you want more information, you can either hit me up or follow Crystal McFadden on Facebook, Picking Up the Pieces of Your Heart. So perhaps you have had your heart broken before, shattered into a million pieces. There is no quick fix for it. A simple sweep won't clean up the mess that is left. What you need is a thorough reminder of the power that lies inside of you. And what you need is reassurance that it is okay to heal and love again. This book was written with your needs in mind. It is never too late to get your heart back. It's her sincere mission to take the hurt she's personally felt and use it to create something encouraging for others. So sit back, kick your feet up, crack the book open, and get ready to be whole again. So it goes from pieces to a whole heart. I'm so proud of her. Shout out to Crystal. Okay. I don't know what to do with this. Oh, there we go. Thank you all for joining me on trying to get this right, the Queen Network. I am Queen Fierce. We are waiting for Queen Lena in the stew. I'm trying to get to. I don't know if you could see Philly if there's any comments on the Facebook. Yeah. Oh wait, no. The YouTube keeps spinning. Oh, there's Tony. Oh, Tony commented. Thanks for watching, Tony. Um, that's why it's important to leave your footprints. Indeed, indeed. I am making every mark on every corner of this world as I possibly can. I actually just had a conversation with Philly about the way this year is rolling and people are checking out of here. You will not catch me operating at a low vibration. And you don't care. She don't care. So Philly is feeling like she's operating at a low vibration right now. because I told her she needs to take 3 deep breaths and ask what her higher self would do. And she doesn't want to listen to her higher self. You want to know why? Because I think our listening and honoring our higher selves takes a level of humility. Well, absolutely. It takes your higher self is really your spirit self. So you have to be humble to your spirit and deny your flesh. So we don't want to deny our flesh if we operate in our flesh. So low vibration, higher self. It's a choice. It's a choice. But yeah, so I said, if I got to check up out of here, you're not going to catch me operating at a low vibration. You're welcome. Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. You know, my computer is like kind of doing its own thing right now. So I haven't seen all of your Facebook comments yet, but I am able to, I can't see the YouTube feed, but I can see the comments. I don't know if that's my computer or what. Um, and I'm trying to get over to the YouTube feed. Yeah, so thank you. Oh, I forgot to put my glasses on. Anyway, thanks, guys. So, conversations about grief are important, and I want to encourage you to seek out outlets where you can have those healthy conversations. There's actually I don't want to say a good friend of mine, but a beautiful acquaintance of mine. Hey, you beautiful darling, you. Um, Jay Nicole, who does a podcast called The Grief Bully. She was here. Actually, it was just a year ago when they were live here. And she came with I want to say K Rider, but that's not right. Uh, but she was a guest on the Queen Network about a year ago and has since started her own podcast called The Grief Bully. So she does give strategies about how to um, like manage, yeah, how to manage being in a state of grief, how to manage your own grief, and how to just like pull through and push through, which is so important. But I'm happy that we are able to have safe spaces where we can have these conversations. Would you like to come over? You are more than welcome. More than welcome. Oh, all this time I didn't know this mic was on. Yeah, it's already on. You want to slide around? Hey, I'm just holding it for you. Yeah, I think it's a little, and it's going to ease on down throughout, but it'll be.
Hi, how are you tonight? How are you tonight?
Philly said she's doing all right with herself.
That's what's up.
This is your glass right here. I made us a
Yes.
concoction. It might be a little sweet, but I know how you like sangria,
Oh,
and I tried. I tried.
okay.
Uh,
Oh, I
but
love you.
I just poured it.
I
I
do
tried
love
to
you.
wait for you, but
It's
we
okay.
were talking, and I was like,
Yes.
let me start now.
You know what?
Okay, it's
Listen,
still cold.
Sasha, I brought
Yes.
something for you, but it's appropriate for right now, okay?
Okay.
So I need to get it
Okay.
and you need to handle
Okay.
it. Okay.
Let's
All
handle
right.
it. Let's handle it.
Are
I'll
we
hold the
going to
chair
use
for
it?
you. I'll
Okay.
hold the chair for you. There you go. I always love when you hop. You know I do. I knew Queen Lena was going to bring me a gift, and I have like the gifts lining up
Okay.
for you. I
All
feel like.
right, wait.
Are you
And
in?
I'm not in.
Okay.
All right, I'm in.
She's in. She's
I'm
in,
in.
y'all.
I'm safe. I'm in.
This is Queen Lena, everybody.
Hi.
In case y'all didn't know, she
That's
came
me.
through in the clutch. She slid in my DMs, guys, and she was like, "Hey, want some company?" And I was like, "Of course."
I
Is
will
it
be company.
you?
Yes. So this is your Kwanzaa present.
Oh my gosh!
And we are at the end of the year.
Mhm.
January is closing out, so we
Mhm.
celebrated that on January 1st, pumpkin.
Yeah.
So we gotta get this over with. And we have to
Thank you
yes,
so
gotta use them.
much. So we can
So
open this now.
yes.
We're gonna
You
open this now.
yes. If you could just be patient with us. I know. I just realized how appropriate they were. But it's because I love you.
Oh my goodness! It's new
What?
show glasses.
What? Who said they made them just in your favorite color?
Say what now? They is leopard
Well,
glasses.
I saw the leopard accessory here, so I like how not.
She said I have to get it.
It wasn't even an option.
Do y'all see this? Oh my gosh! Thank you.
Crazy.
I'm so excited.
Like,
I'm about to put it on
well, that's what I was
right
thinking.
here.
Like, we need to wash them.
I
Like,
know.
how
I know.
silly would we be not to use these wonderful glasses
I
that
know.
were made especially for you?
For me,
Isn't
somebody
that
made them for
something?
me and
They
then put them
did.
in the store
Those are
so that
very
you can
individual.
find them.
They did.
Oh my
I believe
goodness!
it so.
Are you gonna rinse these out
Okay.
for us? Do y'all see
Thank
how
you so
beautiful
much.
these glasses
These
are?
are you.
They have leopard on them in gold. I love it.
Well, right. So
I know.
I couldn't let her wait to
I
open
know.
that and use that because I haven't seen you in a long time,
I
and this
know. It feels.
is
It
just
does.
our space.
It
And I
all,
needed
I
to,
know.
yes, like
I
what?
love, and I just said that I love meeting new queens in the stew, and I love catching up with old ones.
Yes, I'm in your stew.
I know. On the throne. I'm trying to use more queen friendly
Okay.
language.
Yes, I
So
like
we have
that.
Queen Lena on the throne today. And but we're really live in the still. I don't so live in the still is just something that I coined. I just like to say it. But yeah, Queen Lena on the throne.
Hi.
Hey. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Queen Lena is legit, hands down, probably in my top three favorite queens. That's only because I gotta honor my mom and my grandma. Okay.
Oh, that's what's up. That is.
Queen Lena is my favorite queen ever. And so when we start talking, you will understand why I say this often. I always think that I'm a real grown up, and then I have a conversation with Queen Lena, and I'll be like, you know what? I have so much further to go. Like,
And
so
I'm
much
still
further.
growing.
I
It's
know.
So much.
So God put you here so that like you can learn the lessons first and then share them with me, and then I can grow a little bit, and then be like, guess what? I grew a little bit, and you be like, guess what? Grew so much more. Peep this, and I'd be like, damn, I got to grow some more. Thank you. Philly getting all this airtime today.
Thank you.
All this airtime today. Okay. Oh my gosh. Let's go. Oh, I think I got it. I don't think it was it. No, we can pour some more. All right.
This one?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it says positive vibes though. It's so positive. Well, okay. It's distracting.
They're appropriate.
Okay.
You want me to pour you some more? Thank you.
Oh, I feel
Philly.
this is good that we get to use these these glasses.
Yes. I'm gonna christen the glasses live on the air. Oh my gosh, I
When
knew
I saw
it in
them,
my
I
spirit.
could not even leave them in the store. I was like, Seisha?
Is it you? You calling me? They calling me. They calling me. Oh my gosh, cheers. Cheers with the new glasses.
Yes.
Oh, nothing like that second sip.
Oh wait, was that stuff when you do things in the microphone?
Oh yeah, mukbang. Is it called mukbang? So is it called mukbang? Philly, when they eat and
Like
um
that in the microphone.
Oh no, that's that other thing, the sound therapy
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
Okay. No, mukbang is when they eat and have a conversation on
Okay.
air. Mukbang, I think it's called. Tell me what it's called, y'all. It's something
Hmm.
like that though. When people eat and have a conversation on air.
Do they let you hear the sounds too?
I
I
don't
don't know what y'all,
know.
but I ain't talking about that anyway.
Yeah, but yeah,
I'm talking about when
they
they
do the
make
sound.
sounds
It's
in
like
the microphone,
a
a
certain
sensory thing.
megahertz or something like that, and you do different
Okay, you're right.
sounds
Some
like in
people
the
are
microwave.
chewing. Some people, when they
Yeah,
drink something, they might snap in it.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. My kids listen. They the ones who put me hip to it. My kids listen to it, and I was like, "Why y'all listening to somebody eat? That's nasty." And they was like, "They eat at McDonald's, mommy," and I was like, "Yuck." It sounds disgusting.
Wow. I mean, they are drawing them in
I
though.
know. Yeah. The first time, my first experience with that was and La was the one who had to tell me what it was. And I was like, oh, this is a thing?
Well, I've seen them play with toys, which is
Mhm.
still strange to me when children are playing with toys and the other children are watching it. They're
Oh,
viewing it.
yeah.
I thought that was
There's
strange,
I
just watching some kid play with a doll.
right.
But
They do these reviews and stuff. Listen, TNT about to have a YouTube
well,
channel.
well,
It's a because
well,
they are a whole show.
well,
If you ever say it, just
well.
listen or watch them. I was like, you want to watch famous tube kids? Don't you want to be famous tube kids?
They want to
Because
be famous too,
they want to
kids.
be famous tube kids. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. Oh my goodness. So what do we have in the lineup, Queen Lena? So we did have a lightweight discussion about grief in the light of Kobe Bryant tragedy and his daughter being involved as well, and now
Mm.
the family that is left behind, and of course a whole nation and world who also feel like they are in mourning because they are really in shock, but
Yes.
um just managing what that person meant to them. I mean, that's across the board. And then how things on that level can often overshadow other things that really matter. There are
Hmm.
tragedies that are happening right on a local level.
Right.
Um, and how 2020 seems to be a beast so
So
far.
far in my life, it has been.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes, indeed. I can attest to that, but I also feel like okay. I also feel like you know, we're making it happen.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna check me out of here no time soon. And be crowned. Did I do it right? Right with the dots.
Yes.
All right.
I've been on a social media hiatus. So I
Yeah.
guess I'll get back there. I
Yeah.
slowly started with Facebook, but and that's been okay. I feel like I do need to, I don't know,
And
get
so
back into
yeah,
growth.
why are you taking a social media hiatus?
I needed it. My mental health needed it.
That happens sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do things. I do a short term. I don't never say, "Oh, I'm not gonna be on social media." I'm not gonna be on social media for days or weeks at a
Mm-hmm.
time. But like, I know when I need to shut it down and pull it
Mm-hmm.
back. I may go for a time frame. Like now, I have committed to not looking at social media in the morning when I wake up,
Mm-hmm.
which has been transformational
Yes.
to say the least, because it really just immediately draws you in. And I find myself spending more time just laying around when I could be doing the things that I absolutely need to
Yes.
do. Um, and last night I read a article, super sad article, and I was like, you know what? enough is enough for the evening. I need to
Yes.
shut it shut it down.
Yes.
So I think it's just really about knowing when you need to step back, and it is a self-care issue.
It's a self-care issue, and I knew I needed to remove myself, and not because anything negative was happening there. It was just taking
Mhm.
up too much of my brain space, and I needed it to be taken up in more productive ways. And social media can be productive, but it can also be counterproductive and also cause for myself a procrastination spirit. So I put that down. And ironically, I was saying to myself, I'm going to remove myself from social media for a little while. And I didn't. And then I needed a new phone like 3 weeks ago. And I
Uh-huh.
was like, oh, this is perfect. I just won't download it.
Yes.
So, going back to 2020 being a beast, 2020 has been putting things in my face like, yeah, bitch, you said you wanted it.
Right.
So, I mean, just like
And what are
that,
you
like
gonna
steak and
do?
all. And I'm like, you're right. I said I wanted it, and here it is.
And
So
here it
I said I
is.
wanted to remove myself, and now I have a new phone, and how dare I download it?
Mhm.
So it's been so sweet, though, not feeling like I have, like in the morning, like I'm
Mhm.
looking at it, or at work. Like, it's just been nice
Yeah.
to both just
It's
to refocus.
definitely less distracting. Like, so,
Yes.
and I make sure I close my apps out.
Hmm.
I along a while ago I took the notifications off
Yes, me
because the
too.
notifications,
Hmm.
I mean, they notify you about dumb stuff. And I don't want to,
Everything.
yeah, like everything, like so and so commented on somebody else's status that
Hmm.
you commented on, or so and so posted a photo. And I'm like, why would I like care
Yeah.
about, like, if I see it, I'll see it. So since I adopted, if I see it, I'll see it
Yes.
mentality, I was just like, oh, when I open the app, I'll see it. It doesn't have to, you don't have to tell me to
Right.
see it. Tell me to go see the Facebook. Yeah, no.
Go
I
to
don't,
the Facebook.
right, go on to the Facebook.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah,
So
I
good
don't feel
job.
like that. I don't feel
Mhm.
like it all the time. And lately I found so a lot more news stories have been popping up. And I mean it's a mixed bag
Mhm.
because social media is tailored to like who you are there you
Yes.
with these algorithms and all.
Yes.
They, I mean, the algorithms get on my nerve, but they kind of sharp
And the bone
sometimes.
listening.
Oh, do we want to talk about that?
Just
Because
saying,
cr-
both of them together is a lot.
do we
Mm.
wa- okay,
No,
because
we
I
can talk about
thought I
all
was
kinds of stuff.
because one time I was like, I swear I didn't even say anything, and and the mess popped up on my phone. I'm
You
like, is
doing
it
it.
reading
You
brainwaves? Is it looking
doing
through
it.
the
Mhm.
camera? Is
Mhm.
that what it's doing?
Stacia, it might be. I'm not even gonna say I doubt you. It's
I
been
think
scary.
I lied to you not. This had to be it had to be like a year, maybe some more ago. I went into Ross
Mm.
to look at some blankets. Like I was looking for a comforter set. And I found one
Okay.
and I bought it.
Mhm.
I stepped out of Ross
Mhm.
and I opened my phone and I went on Instagram as I was late waiting for the light to change. I just stepped out the store, y'all. And the first sponsored ad was for quilts.
'Cause you-
I didn't say nothing to nobody, dog. I didn't say it. And I immediately
Mhm.
called somebody up.
Mm.
And I was like, you ain't gonna believe this. But they watching
They
too.
watching
Not
too.
only are they
They
listening, but
watching.
they
They watching. But
watching.
have you been? So you come out of Ross, and then it asked you, "How did you like Ross?"
Yeah.
That's I didn't appreciate that.
Right
I've been to
now.
like three
Cause they reading
places,
your
and it's
location.
and
Yeah.
so I am so uh particular about location being off, like off, off, off.
All right.
But no, I don't.
We don't
I'm
like
not
that.
doing enough.
Yeah. No.
Yes.
We don't like that.
Did you like the so and so library? What?
Did I tell you? I didn't even check
Why am
in.
I sharing this with you? Why are you asking me about my
I didn't even
private
check
events?
in. Right.
It's a
Rude.
lot.
So the algorithm, sharp
Mhm.
but rude. Okay. We would some parts of our lives,
None of it is private.
but we would like to keep them
None
private.
of it.
We would
I
like
don't
that.
believe it.
Oh, oh, hey, Alexis. Alexis was saying she was trying to catch the show last week and she's on this week. So,
Oh,
hey, thanks
hi
for checking
Alexis.
us out. You're tuned into the Queen Network. Hey, everybody. We got Facebook popping, YouTube popping. We
Yes.
got the Queen Lena.
Awesome.
Awesome and awesome. So, you took a social media hiatus
I did. It's been very nice.
for self care
For
purposes.
self care purposes, because our mental health is the thing we don't take care of
Hmm.
often.
Often.
Hmm.
I have been making it a mission to be just more vigilant,
Hmm.
aware about not just my mental health, but the mental health of those around me.
Yes. How?
Um,
Meaning, like, how with the people around you.
so I have started meditation practices with the kids. They love it. I mean, they ask me for it.
Yeah.
They're like, over reading a book at night. They're like, "Mommy, are we gonna do meditation?" And I think it's that's how they
It's so
are.
cool.
And I think it's largely because they experience a level of anxiety that they don't know how to communicate to anybody
Hmm.
or even know what it is or
Hmm.
identify it as anxiety. And I believe that it really um gives them physiological effects to
Yes.
practice the meditation. And we do it before bed. Um, and I actually want to either write it out or record it so it can be shared. So like you can do it with like other little people in your
Yeah.
life because it's no more than 5 minutes and I guide it for them.
Hmm.
And it's helpful for me too. Like I'm getting in some meditation time for myself.
Hmm.
Um, but a family that meditates
That is
together.
so
and
cool.
I
Hmm.
was and things have been I've been saying it over the last week or so, even with all the chaos that is happening around us and in the world, my household has been peaceful.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because choices that I'm making, low vibration versus higher self, or because of the changes like adding in meditation practices,
Hmm.
um, being aware. Like I've known for some times, like, hey, I'm just stressed the hell out. Like started going to therapy and
Right.
implementing those practices and all that kind of stuff. And it's
Yeah.
been a journey, but I can finally say that it seems like things are like leveling a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that all of those things you spoke of are things that higher your level of vibration. So,
I feel like I'm vibrating high.
girl, meditate. You can't help but to vibrate higher, and being aware of your feelings and your space, being self aware of self.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you don't really have an option but to be working on a higher vibration because you've learned something new,
Mm-hmm.
something, some self-care and self-awareness that's new. And I feel like once you're self-aware and you know, I mean, you do have options. You have
Mm-hmm.
options to stay where you were because it's not comfortable to vibrate higher, or you're like, oh my goodness, this feels so good. Like
Right.
whatever is happening, I'm
Whatever
gonna
is
do
happening,
it.
let's
Let's
ride it
keep doing
out.
it. Yes,
And
but
so I find that even communicating my needs to the kids has been helpful. Like, mommy does not need that right now,
yes,
you know,
uh-huh.
and they are receptive
Yes, they are.
of that. You know what I mean? Like, people
Mhm.
just, I feel like with children, people adopt a lot of my way or the highway
Right.
kind of
I agree.
attitude and perspective. And I found that just communicating with them
Yeah.
has been so effective. And
Yeah.
I'm grateful. And they have a level of understanding that people would assume that they didn't have.
Yes.
They know when mommy don't feel like it, and if they
Yes.
don't know, I tell them.
Yes.
I
And they
say,
receive that
yeah, and they receive
communication and
it, and
they're
I
able
say,
to
mommy does
process
not
it.
feel like that right now,
Yes.
or mommy doesn't need that right now. And they're like, okay, I'm sorry, mommy. I say,
Mhm.
oh no, you don't have to be sorry. It's
Mhm.
just let's do something different,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
And also communicating my needs with the people around me.
Mhm.
I'm making an effort to a large part of getting back to myself in this season is making sure that I go out. Like I've always been a very social person, and
And
last
thank her
year, I
kids.
know, right? Last year it got shut all the way down when the babies came, and it was just like, oh, I can't go anywhere like on a Tuesday or a Friday or a Saturday night because I had the kids. And
Right.
now I'm just like, you know what? This is something that I would like to do, and I'm going to do it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. And so it might cost me a little coin,
Mhm.
but sometimes it don't. So
Yeah.
it balances out. Sometimes
Mhm.
it costs me some coin. Sometimes it's like I could I wanted to support the young ladies networking event on Sunday. It was in Lansdowne. I was like, hey, my brother lives in
Mhm.
Lansdowne. I wonder if he could watch the kids for a couple hours. He hardly ever says yes to anything without giving me if he says yes, it's like, well, I
Mhm. Mhm.
gotta, you know how brothers are, you know how cancers are. So it was like a whole thing, or I thought it was going to be a whole thing. And I was like, hey, got an event later. It's right in Lansdowne, was wondering if you could watch the kids for a couple hours. Sure, what time? Girl almost passed out where I stood. I said, did he just let you know
It's a
what time?
2020.
Right. I was like, okay. 2020 is about to be popping. Not saying like,
Good job, brother.
oh, yeah, good job, brother. Shout out to
Yeah,
John.
shout out,
I
John.
appreciate John.
Shout out to John for holding your sister down with them kids and not even blinking.
And not even
Mm,
blinking. And
bless
then
your
when I
heart,
came to
John.
pick him up, he was like, you going to stay for a couple minutes?
You
I
didn't
was
put her
like,
right
he
out.
didn't put me right out. I was like, you sure? Because I
Oh, he
parked in the
loves
driveway. He
you.
do. My little brothers, they
That's
always treated me
awesome.
like a queen.
Yes.
They love me. They always acted like the big brothers, but they're little
Mm-hmm.
brothers. Even though they are bigger than me physically,
Mm-hmm.
they are younger than me. But they always acted like the big brothers. So I am grateful for that because sometimes
Shout
I
out.
needed some big brothers.
Family support is beneficial and helpful.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful, and I was able to go to the her networking mixer with young Queen Erica, who was here a couple weeks ago, and it was a beautiful event. And I feel like all of February is lined up with the wonderful queens that I
Yes.
met at this
Yes.
event. So it was just so necessary for me to be there. And I just said all of that to say that I'm just grateful for Tribe and grateful for community. And y'all going to see my face all 2020 because I'm out here. I'm going to
Yes.
open mic this weekend and next weekend. And the babies is covered.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful.
Good job.
Thanks. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what gems do you have for me today, Super Mina?
Well, so I will say that um, life has been going so wonderful. I am so grateful for my network of people and just my passion. So can I just say, just because it's on my brain, wherever your dream is, it does not matter who doesn't see it, um, who doesn't relate to it, and it really doesn't matter who is belittling it. If it is your dream and your passion, you just have to do it.
You just have
You
to.
just have to do it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, don't line up so much the logical part about it.
Mhm.
Just do it. Just
Yes.
do it. I mean, maybe you don't quit your full time job for your passion. You do it on the side. You
Mhm.
do it when you get home from work.
Until
But
you
you just
can.
do it.
Right.
Yes. You do it to your heart's content.
I got a download in my I don't is it a download? I got a deal. I call when God speaks to me, I call them downloads. And so I got a download today and was like, you should text this person and ask them, are there any openings at their
Mhm.
organization? It's a completely different field,
Mm.
but it's something that my heart is currently beating for.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, this trying to talk myself out of it. Like,
But
oh, it's
that's what we
probably
do.
not no jobs.
Hmm.
And then the next download came and said, ask them if you could create one.
Yes.
And
Make it happen.
right. And so I was like, I don't think I'm getting off the hook with this one. Because there's nothing wrong with having a conversation.
Mm-mm.
And the things that I have on my mental plate right now that I want to put on my physical plate, but physically don't have the time for it.
Yeah.
It I I just want to see it. I want to see it happen, like in
Yes.
my hands. I want to be holding. I want to hold it. I want to share it with the world. I want it like right now, and
Mhm.
I feel like maybe this what I'm doing right now professionally is in the way of that. I said it out loud,
She said it out loud, live,
live on the air.
on the air for everybody, including herself, to hear.
It's probably the first time. That's the first time I definitely said the download part out loud.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Girl, nice job.
Thanks. And so it just aligns with what you were saying about dreams and just
It
absolutely
does.
doing it, even if the naysayer is yourself.
Sometimes it's yourself. Sometimes we are in our own way.
Sometimes we talk ourselves
All
out of
the
we talk
time.
ourselves out of it.
So in my planner this week, because when I work at my desk, my planner is open so that I can write down every single thing I did today. And I took a sticky note, and on it it says, um, I have been filled with fear.
Mm,
And I just needed to make myself aware and remind myself that that was the state that I had been moving from,
mm,
fear. And so I had a conversation with a beautiful queen yesterday, Candy Gonzalez, and the conversation was about just that, about your fear. What does your fear stem from? And the idea that sometimes it stems from you being fearful of your success. 2019, I worked on fears. Like, I understood that I was working from a space of fear and I wanted to open that up. And so I did things like rock climbing, and I went skiing for the
mm-hmm,
first time. And I did things to take me out of my physical comfort zone in
mm-hmm,
hopes that that would help elevate my emotional comfort zone. And it worked. It gave me reasons to have confidence, to build confidence in myself, and to remember what a challenge feels like and what it feels like to overcome that challenge and be successful physically. And so then when it came to these things that had been stewing in my brain and other things that I knew I needed to see into fruition and make tangible, but that I was fearful to do so, I had like this list of physical things that already was telling me subconsciously that I was strong and that I could do this. And I believe that this, now we're in January, November through, well, December through January has been teaching me or reminding me that what it feels like not to move out of fear. Like last year, I was saying to myself, I need to recognize my fear and I need to use that fear to fuel my passion. I
Mhm.
need to use that fear to propel myself forward. And I did. I know I'm afraid of this, but become aware of what I'm afraid of and do it anyway.
Yes, indeed.
Anyway. So yeah, girl, I forgot where I was going with that, but to loop it back around. But the idea is that, yes, when the naysayers are saying it doesn't look good, you can't do that, or when you're thinking it's something completely opposite of what you've been doing,
Mhm.
but it's in your heart, you got to move with it, because when you move with it, it's going to reap great reward, whatever that reward may be. But I believe that that reward is definitely one of confidence, and I can do this, and for the culture, and for being black, and for being a mama, and for my community, and all of that. Like all of that comes out
All
of
of
it,
it. All of
of
it.
stepping outside of fear
Yeah.
and our comfort
And I
zones.
think mostly in this season I have this strong sense of identity, and where I am at right now is not really serving that. It's just serving what I've done professionally for the
Yeah,
last 10 years.
yeah,
So Alexis asked, did I ask? Did I send the text? I have not sent the text yet. I'm going to be sending it before I go to
yeah. Cause
bed tonight.
she just let us
I
know. She
know. I
just
put
let
it in
us
the
out
universe
know.
now.
It's
So
out.
when you put things out in the universe, it
Mm-hmm.
makes you accountable
Mm-hmm.
to it rather than when you're just rolling things around in your
Absolutely.
mind. I literally had not said that to anybody. That
Well,
whole spiel
there
that
it
you
is.
heard about the download, the text, new profession, and all that. But my spirit has been saying April. And that's only, I mean, if you want to get
Maybe.
legit, 2 months away. If you only
March.
call right, if you
Yeah.
want to get legit, it's
Yeah.
only 2 months
Yeah.
away. But my spirit is saying April. So what do I need to do? Because April
Mhm.
is 60 days away. Um, and I believe that whatever I'm doing right now is setting up this
Mhm.
whole year, and everything I do for the rest of this year is setting
Mhm.
me up for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like that is just where I am. Alexis also noted that she could be her own worst critic, which
Yeah.
we all completely um
Mhm.
understand.
Mhm.
We can be our own biggest enemy. Some people don't even care what we doing, and
Mm-mm.
we make it about other people caring about what we doing when it's really us just wrapped up in our own minds. And that's why too you have to put things out into the
Yes.
universe, because if you keep it in
Mhm.
your mind, child, you'll talk yourself out of it
Yes.
before it
That's
even,
important.
it
That's a
even
very
started.
important reminder to remind yourself and let people know that aren't yet aware that it's important to say it out loud.
Hmm.
It's important to say it out loud. It's important to write it down. It's important to visualize it. It's
Well,
important to
that's all in
daydream
the
about it.
first step of
Well,
manifestation.
absolutely. So we got to let people know and remind us, because
Declaration,
sometimes we forget, like, what should I be
making it
doing? It's in my
visual,
head. Mm-hmm.
accountability. I mean, once you put it in the universe, you make yourself accountable to
Yes.
actually practicing the things that are leading you into that direction.
Yeah.
So now I gotta go send a text.
It sounds
We should
like
do it
it.
now.
Do it.
Should I do it now? I'm going to
Yeah.
do it now, y'all,
Yeah.
because I have a rapport with this person, and I was like, "Oh, should I email them?" And it was like, "You have a rapport with them. Their number is
It's
in your phone."
happening. It's happening.
They just text you in the other day and was like, "What's up?" And I was
Oh,
like,
what's up? This is what's up.
"This is what's up.
This new position
This
is
new
what's up
position."
that you need. Because how
This
have you
new
been operating
position.
without it?
I know.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're watching and you get this text,
Think you know who you are.
I think you know you are.
You.
This is for you. I'm for you. I'm for you. I'm
Mm-hmm.
for you.
So
I'm for you.
accountability.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. So I'm not gonna take my attention away from doing the show because
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
definitely live
Mm-hmm,
right now
mm-hmm,
doing a show.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Hey, just wanted to chat.
No, do that. Do that. That's a good job. I want to say that I
Whatever.
appreciate you feeling something in your spirit, sharing it with everybody before you even came full circle with yourself, speaking it to the universe, and now moving on it. Because that's an important part of it. You can think it all you want, you can write it down, you can say it out loud, but until you put into action, it just doesn't happen as easily as you would like it to do. Like you have to put action
True.
behind it. So I'm glad that I was here to witness it.
Right. Is there?
Yes. Okay. So
Thanks for
I guess
holding
I gotta
down.
move on some stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh
know
my
I
gosh.
do.
Oh, it's sent. It happened. Okay. I
This
did
is the
it.
part.
I sent the text. I
Yeah.
sent the text. She's probably gonna be like, "What? I thought you never asked." Yes. I'm here
Universe,
for it.
please receive it and give us Seisha's
And you know,
desired outcome.
thank you. And I always feel like if it's not, excuse me, what I expected it to
Mm-hmm.
be, like, thank you for that unction to move. Because if I can do that, then I can do whatever the next thing is.
You're planting
That
seeds.
yeah. Yes, I'm expecting a harvest.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a harvest. I've been planting since the beginning of December. Just the way that I have sold into people, sold words and money and energy into people. I'm expecting a harvest. Like expecting. And I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Don't you just want to take some deep breaths when Queen
We
Lena is
should. We
around?
should take
We should.
it's a good time to do it. It's a good
Perhaps
time.
April will be the start of a new job. You know, some jobs take time to do the onboarding process. And you also need to get used to. I'm glad you sent it. Yes.
Don't forget to quit your job the right way.
Right. And then my
We
job,
need level-headed
yeah,
friends.
my job, they say they want you to give 30 days. And my whole time of being there, I've never seen anybody give 30 days. But the nature of the work that I do, I do realize the importance, and I'm willing to do a transition plan with
There you go.
whoever my successor is. So I mean, I have the, like, when I say the whole plan
Hmm.
formulation
It
is
sounds
here.
like it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
sounds like you're prepared as much as you can be.
As
Now
much
hold
as
on
I can
tight.
be.
Now
Right.
hold your drawers. It's
Hold
gonna be a
on to
wild
your butt.
ride.
Right. So she ready. Oh, right. She ready. Oh, I hope so. But that's stepping out of
Be
that
ready now.
place of fear. Like you say, you realize that you operated in a place of fear for some time.
Hmm.
It was last year or maybe the later end of 2018 where I realized I operated from the safe place
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
like not taking risks
Hmm.
and telling everybody, oh, you know, reach for the stars and you can do
Right.
it, and promoting everyone
Yeah.
else. But meanwhile, I had put these
Hmm.
like very unintentional
Hmm.
limits on myself. And I was like, I had to realize that they were limits. I had to
Yeah.
realize that I was the one who kept myself in the box because
Hmm.
I operated from a very safe space.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it feels very secure here.
I'm staying here.
Right.
and I ain't
And if
growing as
I'm
much as I
right,
could.
and if I push any more out of
Mhm,
it, it's not going to be
mhm.
secure. So
Yeah.
I might as well just stay here. But I think that before you walked in, I had just said that um, we said that we were going to bust 2020 wide open, but 2020 is busting us wide open. And this is the year that is
Yeah.
going to show you what you are truly made of. The way
Yeah.
this year started,
Mhm. I attest
baby.
to that.
And I'm talking about everybody. It's not just like, oh, I had a car accident. Oh my gosh. Like things on top of things on top of
Mhm.
things, but not just me.
Yeah.
So like I know it's universal. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
just like this year, especially with the way this year started, is showing you what you are made of
Mhm.
and how you handle everything around you, the chaos around you, the
Yeah.
things that are happening is the definition of you right now. And so you can either vibrate higher
Got options.
or stay where you are.
That sucks.
You got options.
Yeah, so I feel like it's safe to say if you aren't a little uncomfortable in your life right now,
You rushing.
you might be comfortable. And comfortable is comfortable, but it is a lack of growth also.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So, do you want what do you want for yourself? Because you can continue to grow as long as you learn new lessons and skills. You will continue to build on the knowledge that you have,
That's
practical and
true.
otherwise. So, if you're a little comfortable, you gotta talk to yourself.
Hmm. Auntie Lena has spoken. She gave that lip, that little auntie
I
lip.
mean,
If you're a little
yeah,
comfortable.
you got to have a talk with yourself and say, what is this? What is this comfort? What does this
Right.
mean? Define that comfortability and ask yourself, do you want to be vibrate higher and be at a
Right.
different
Like
space
or just
in your
right.
life?
Do you
Because there's a
want
higher,
more? You know what
more.
I mean? More.
And it doesn't
Like
have to be
maybe
material
right.
more.
Maybe what you have or where you are is just satisfying to you.
Absolutely.
You know.
It could be more spiritually.
Mhm.
It could be more financially.
Mhm. It could be more emotionally.
Could be.
It just
It's a
could
lot of
be
ways to grow.
growth,
Oh
which
my
is
gosh.
more.
Yes. Busting at the seams with it this year. Intended and not. And that's not to not really not, but seeds that were sown long ago
Right.
are now showing
Absolutely.
their
Um
harvest. And I'm like,
yeah.
oh,
Oh.
it must
Oh.
the rainy season came.
Here it is.
What?
Here it is. So speaking of the seeds that you have sown and your growth, let's talk a little bit about what you are doing now and the transformation that you have made over this last year that I have been a witness to. Can I get a witness? Yes, Queen
Bless
Talinta.
you. So, one major thing that has been happening in my life is the transformation and declaration in my life to be a builder. Builder,
This is like a real life
this is a
builder.
real life building homes builder. So I decided that I just needed to get with it already
Hmm.
and learn some things about hammers and nails and how things go together. And I need to build some things. And so I did it. I went to school and I learned some basics about building homes, and I got to build a home with my class. And um, it has come, it has grown so big out of a little it has been a seed planted in me since I was very young. But going back with talking about naysayers and what people say we can or cannot do, I was discouraged to do that because it was more of a, it wasn't suitable for my gender to build things and to be a carpenter and work with my hands. And I didn't do it. And I did what I was comfortable with,
Right.
and which is education. And then I was, yeah, then I figured out I could marry too. And I was like, girl, yes. But I decided that it was time to go back to school and build things. So from that, just what a show that just closed, I had the opportunity to be in a show of woodworking women who did phenomenal work, that showed in Philadelphia, called Making a Seat at the Table.
Yes, I heard of this. Yeah.
So this thing
Mhm.
was lasted from October through Saturday, was the last day, this Saturday, January, and it showcased women builders of geniusness. I mean,
And
I
so,
don't
what
even know how
kind
I
of
got
thing?
there.
So, what? Okay, right. So, what did you
So what
build?
I contributed was a gate. They
Mhm.
were entryway gates, and these gates, entryways, came from a project that I got to work on at Samuel Powell Elementary School, which is in
Mhm.
West Philadelphia, and they needed a garden. So we were making a pollination garden. And you know that my other passion and love is farming and
And
gardening.
gardening,
So, like,
yes.
how could I not help this school build a garden? And we were making entry gates to their garden, which were really bright red and welcoming and large and beautiful and very architecturally interesting. And so some folks liked them. And as a result of them liking these entryway gates at Samuel Powell, I was commissioned to enter those gates at this exhibition of women woodworkers.
Oh, nice.
So, some great, or yes, great things about it is, myself and another woman, Manera, built the structures, and we were at the time the only native Philadelphian people
Oh, wow.
to
Okay.
participate. There were 160 uh, applicants, and I believe like 40 something persons were able to participate in it. But not only did we participate, we were commissioned to do it. So somebody
Nice.
like
That's
came a
exciting.
knocking
Right. Right.
and was like, "Would you?" So that has been so amazing.
That is amazing. Um, and I'm so
Yes, I
proud
am.
of you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And it was out of my decision, and I don't want to be a, I mean, I don't know, maybe I won't say that I won't enter things into museums and exhibits, but my goal is to build housing for a population of people who need help
Oh,
transitioning.
right.
So maybe it will be a population of women with children who are displaced. Maybe it will be a population of families that are dealing with drug addiction. But one of those two, and maybe both of those communities, I really feel the need to serve in building homes.
That's
And
amazing.
it's just gonna happen.
Yeah. Yes.
It's happening.
Right. It's already happening.
Yes,
And then
yes,
when
it's
we line up,
happening.
all the,
Mhm.
all that, because Alexis offers her congratulations, and she wants to
Thank you,
know
Alexis.
which school
So
you
I went to
attended.
Camden County College and I took a class in carpentry, that lasted September through May or June. And in that class, I learned the basics of machinery and home building. And it was everything. And it was long, girl. It was long. And it was 4 nights a week.
I was
And
about to say, I
some
remember you
very
saying
long
this.
nights.
Yeah.
Yes, it was 4 nights a week, Monday to Thursday, and
And like 3 or 4
till
hours at
10.
night.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
get out of there till 10 o'clock at night after I had been at work all day.
Mm.
But and I was the only female in that class.
Wow.
But it was, I couldn't, it was good. I could have asked for a different type of instruction. However, it gave me the confidence that I needed to move forward and the assurance that this is exactly what I should be doing because, duh, this is what I love to do.
Right. And so, what do
hmm
you mean by I could have asked for a different type of instruction?
well, I like books. I want to read it. I need to do it.
Hmm.
Um, if there's a math step to be done, I need to see it 1 through 6. And my instructor was a builder, was a contractor. And
Hmm.
so his way of teaching was hands
I was
on
going to say very
only.
hands on.
hmm So it was okay. I did the reading on my own.
Hmm.
But it would have been helpful if I could have done that reading and processing in the classroom because I see after leaving that class some things that my teacher didn't think were important because his line of work didn't call for it, like a thing called like when we are doing things by hand, making an angle by hand versus doing it by machine.
Hmm.
Well, it would a skilled carpenter learns how to do it by hand. And then when you learn how to do it by hand, you can appreciate it by machine.
Right.
But he felt like the world was moving forward. We just
Just
need to
do it
learn
by
by
machine.
machine.
Hmm.
However, the world is moving forward, but people are thinking about things that we let go that we should not have let go of. Like if you want to clear land in the middle of your mama's space, grandmother's great grandmother's back town road where she had a land at that ain't nobody used and ain't no electricity there and you need to build a building.
Right.
That's really important to know,
Hmm.
and we ain't do that. So
Because that's the information
because that's a
you
carpenter.
needed.
hmm
Right.
Yes, because I want to be well rounded, but it's
Hmm.
okay because something just came to me um, yesterday that I'm going to be at in New York, which is having a retreat and workshop on building and farming in
Oh,
upstate New York. So I'm going to be
wow.
there.
Nice.
hmm On timber framing
Right.
specifically is
I
what it's
was taking
called.
all the education that you can
You think
on
not?
this. No,
What?
I absolutely
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
it's a hard yes from
Absolutely.
me.
Hard. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
So I'm so excited.
I've always been an advocate for education, no matter
hmm
what area it
Do
is.
it.
I don't care if it's a 2 year, or 4 year degree, a
hmm
vocation. Like you need some kind of background because people are always going to look toward not just experience you have in the area, but how knowledgeable
Yes.
you are behind it. And I
Yes.
never say that I don't know anything.
Yes.
Like never. I'll be like, I'm right on top of that, Rose.
Yes.
They'll be like, oh, do you have or have you ever heard of the? And I'll be like, I'm gonna get back to you
hmm
on that in just a few moments. Let me handle this right
Yes.
here,
Yes.
and I will let you know shortly. I will let you know
All right now.
shortly. And I'll
Yeah.
be like, how
Yes.
do
Yes.
yeah. And so Alexa, thank you, Alexis, for being so engaged with
Yeah.
us today. But she says that it was meant for her to watch the show tonight because she has an educational work background and she's considering changing careers.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are, two
Here we
queens in
are,
education,
switching it up.
switching it up. I've been in education for 10 years now. 10, yeah, maybe a little more. How long have you been in education?
Uh, 13.
She said, let me count the ways.
13.
13
Well, they laid
years.
me off for a year.
Same thing. What? Oh, that must be
Yeah.
district talk.
That's district talk. Don't let me get caught on camera talk about that district.
That's
Yeah.
one thing I said I ain't going to do. But this show ain't about that.
No. No, not here. You won't get me
Right.
tonight
Right.
while
Not
I'm
this
enjoying this
evening.
drink.
Not this evening.
No.
Um Peach
I
is
say
checking in
explore
with
it.
us too. Yes, definitely explore Alexis.
Alexis,
And
explore it.
yeah, just well, maybe you can drop it in the comments about what your passions are, what you're
I
thinking
want to
about
know because
switching
we
to.
sharing
Maybe
now.
you should be sending a
Maybe
text
you
tonight.
can
I
put it in the
mean,
universe.
I felt a lot of pressure this evening, and y'all got me sending texts and things,
Do it.
and
Let us know.
we should just do
Say
it.
it out loud.
So Peach jumped on. She went to check in with us, asking about what the topic is, and
All
we
kinds
just
of
again
stuff.
we've been talking about all kinds of stuff
Loving on yourself.
tonight, right? Loving on yourself, self
Mhm.
care,
Yeah.
mental health, which has always
Growth.
been like a really big topic between me and Queen Lena. Can
Mhm.
just like not see each other for weeks on end, and then see each other and be like, "Are you taking care of
Yeah.
your mental health? And
Mhm.
what are you doing for your self care?" So that's always important, but mostly eradicating fear and following your dreams.
Yeah.
And Queen Lena is a testament
Thank you.
to that right now with that big change of committing, because that was a commitment
Yeah.
to being educated and being a builder.
Yeah. I thought that I could service my community in a different way. And what I recognized about myself is whenever there times were challenging for me in my life, I would go into creating,
Mm-hmm.
or for me, that meant refinishing furniture.
Nice.
Yeah, so like
Mm-hmm.
my children had custom made furniture, my niece
Oh,
had custom
so this
finished
has
because it would be
always been a
recycled but finished.
thing.
Yes. So I I just at that time I just thought it was something that I liked doing, and it was just creativity, and I was finishing things like buying whole bedroom suites from the thrift store for like
Mhm.
$40, and then making the best bedroom sets my children had with chalkboards attached, like with chalkboard headboards. So
Oh, that's kind of neat.
it was really cool. It was really nice
Yeah.
when I did those kinds of things.
I believe that. I was thinking
Um,
about giving Thaddeus a chalkboard wall.
do it. It is so
So
fun.
it's fun,
It's
right?
so beneficial for them because they want to write on the walls anyway, honey.
Yeah.
They do. They can't help it. But when they have a wall that they can write on, do it. They sell
True.
chalkboard paint.
Yeah.
Just paint it. You don't even have to paint the whole wall, or you could.
Right. And the way his room is kind of like got that divider along the middle, like in the center of the wall. Not quite the center, but
Right.
like I could pick the lower part,
A chair
and
rail.
then yeah.
Do it.
Okay.
Yes. That would be so fun.
Yeah.
My children love. They had a chalkboard something everywhere we lived.
Oh.
So at some point, at one time it was a chalkboard door, and then at some time it was a chalkboard side of the dresser.
Hmm.
But children love to create, and they love to
Yes.
draw. And if
And they are
we,
so
oh my
creative.
goodness, oh my goodness, all we have to do is give them a little push of motivation, and they
Hmm.
run with it.
They do.
It helps with critical thinking.
Hmm.
It helps with creativity. It helps with focusing. Yeah, I advocate it.
All right. Chalkboard wall it
Yes, that is so fun.
is.
You can write messages to them.
Hmm.
Girl, that is fun. I wish I had a chalkboard wall.
I know. Here we are creating. I actually had a friend who her whole like kitchen wall was a chalkboard wall. She would like
Hmm.
write poems to herself and draw pictures to
That's
herself. She
cool.
lived alone. It was really cool.
That is cool.
Um,
I like
yeah.
that idea. I knew a woman that had very big post-it notes, like with lists
Oh.
on them in her
Hmm.
house, and that was a lot visually for me. But I appreciated it because it did what she needed it to do.
Right.
But when you say that there was a grown up with a chalkboard wall,
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Right.
And like, because sometimes I just want to doodle. I don't
Yeah.
really have a list planned out here.
Hmm.
It's just like a vision board.
Right. And it is just being able to express creativity is just so
Hmm.
therapeutic. Oh, Peach said that she also upholsters chairs for fun. See how we're
Yay!
learning about each
Yes.
other and Queen networking right here
Hmm.
on the air. Peach says she also upholsters chairs for fun. And now Philly has some chairs that she
Why you don't? Right.
are they wood? Oh, like the material kind, like
I need to see these chairs.
yeah. I feel like that's stuff. I
Yeah.
feel like there's some
This is
Queen
good.
Network
Mhm.
chairs. One could be leopard and one could be rainbow.
Yes.
Chairs
Wait, you have 15. All right.
in your
So
house? 15 chairs?
you have 15
Big
chairs.
ass
What
chairs.
were you going to do with 15? Oh, because you were going to redo it.
Mm,
Mhm.
right.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
we need something for the
Mhm.
Queen Network. We need a leopard one and a rainbow one.
I don't think these is tall chairs, honey. They little, they short dining room table chairs.
We can
Or
be
okay,
in
yes,
a
okay,
little
sitting chair.
table. Okay,
Okay, she
whatever.
needs some. You need to get some in here because you
We
got
need a
15.
leopard one and a rainbow one. All right, all right. We had sangria,
Yes,
and I want
please. I
these
would love to
chairs.
see them.
Now we talking
I'm
about.
moving. I need all kinds of stuff, and that might be an awesome project.
Oh
Child, yeah.
yeah. She said, "Get these chairs out of here." We Queen Networking right on the air.
Yes.
She
Do
posted
you have a
chairs.
dining room table and no chairs? Do you need
Right.
living room chairs because you have a living room and you don't have adequate seating space? No, when you have company over.
Right. That's
Get
right.
some chairs here.
Peach said she had posted chairs for fun.
Yeah.
Lena posted
I mean,
chairs.
it was just something that I did to be creative. Now
Philly
Lena
getting
builds
rid of
houses.
chairs.
Now Lena builds stuff.
Now you build stuff. You could build a
Yeah.
chair. If,
I'm working on building a dresser.
like
This
from
is the part.
scratch.
Yes, this I went to the lumber yard
The
and
lumber
I
yard,
I
she
went to the
said.
lumber yard and I bought some rough lumber cherry wood. That's what I bought. I bought a lot of it. And then I went to the woodworking shop and I jointed it, which means I'm making it straight like this.
Mm.
And then I
She
planed
gonna
it.
do your table. Didn't you want something done to this table?
It's a real thing happening. I cut my drawer faces, I cut my drawer
Do you hear
sides,
this?
and I cut the styles. The legs of dressers are called
This
styles.
is Philly's
Who
kink right
knew?
now. She's so excited.
I cut the styles.
She
It
was
looks
just talking about this
awesome.
table. Okay, cut the
Yes.
styles.
So that is my project. So everything is resting. I need to square everything up.
This is
And that's
so
what we're
damn
working on.
interesting.
Yes. So
This is the second most interesting thing I've heard this week.
I don't want a furniture build. I want a house build, but I can build furniture too because the house need
The house
furniture.
need furniture. I
I
was about to
mean,
say you could
duh.
put the furniture in the house.
Yes. I'm
Yes.
so excited. I'm so excited. It's coming.
That
And
is
it looks
so
so damn good.
decent.
And it's going to be a piece of cherry furniture in my family that I made that my grandchildren will be like, my mama made that. I'm so excited.
So Alexa says she needs some focus. I guess she hasn't quite picked the
Focus. It's
direction
okay. Hmm.
on which way she wants to go with her transition. And Peach said she made an L-shaped desk,
Yeah.
bench, deck bench, an L-shaped
Deck
deck
bench.
bench.
Nice.
I need a whole deck. Can you
Mhm.
build me a deck?
You need a whole day.
I need a whole deck. I was thinking about that the other day. I get too many downloads. Everything, and we still gotta do the gate. You
Need
built
a
this
whole
beautiful gate for
Mhm.
for these precious babies, and then it was in a exhibit, so it's
It was.
really
And now it's
amazing.
going to live at Girardin, which is a nonprofit garden on Spring Guard. I'm sorry, on Girard Avenue and 42nd.
Gerardin.
It's called Gerardin, and it is my friend Munira, and she runs this nonprofit farm, Philly Farm. It's beautiful. You
42nd
gotta
and
go.
Gerard.
You must go. So this is not growing season, so I don't know if there's anything growing out there right now because I
Right.
know she's getting prepared for growing. However, I went to her last summer and I got some beautiful, beautiful herbs.
Mm.
And I got a wonderful butternut squash, which was so delicious. She grew okra, and just go by, just
Okra
stop
is a
by.
beautiful plant.
Oh my goodness, just go. Mm-hmm.
I had never
Gerardin.
said I worked with one of my clients who works in the edible garden when the season comes. And at the end of the season, I saw the okra. And
Were they the tall okra or were they?
they were the soul okra. And it
She
was
had some
two
that were
different kinds. I
so
know one
huge.
like blooms in red,
These were red. Hers were
and
red and
one blooms
huge.
with a white flower. Is
Okay.
that right? Yeah. So it was
I
like two
didn't plant
different
okra.
kinds. Yeah. It's a beautiful plant.
Girl, but I did plant watermelon because I
I
was being real
saw this
black this summer.
watermelon. I saw this watermelon. I
Yes,
did.
yes. But that okra is
That
beautiful.
and those sweet
Mm-hmm.
potatoes. I almost used that
Oh,
sweet potato picture.
oh,
I was like,
oh,
she
let me
looks
tell
so
you about these
happy with
sweet
these sweet
potatoes.
potatoes. So for those of you who don't know, Lena not only
Sweet
builds,
potatoes.
but she gardens
That's
because she wants to
yes,
build a
yes.
farm.
I
I don't.
want to build a farm. That's the goal.
That is the
That's where I'm
goal.
headed to. So these sweet
Black girls build
potatoes,
farms. This is
yes, they
like,
do. They live on farms. They maintain farms. I mean, come on, y'all.
I
That's what
can't
we
wait to
do.
bring my kids to this farm.
I'm excited to have them there. These sweet potatoes I put in the ground because 2019 I was trying to find my focus. And I knew that my focus was on self sustainability. For me was gardening, growing my own food, and
Mhm.
also living off of my own land and building my own space. And so quite some time ago, I was digging up my ancestry and looking into what my family did. I did know my great grandparents. And I heard stories of my great great grandparents. I have seen pictures of them. So as I'm going through ancestry, I see this newspaper. Well, it wasn't ancestry; it was a newspaper ad from the Eastern Shore. But ancestry directed me to them, and it was my great great grandfather Eugene Pender saying that he was selling sweet potato slips, sweet potato plants,
Mhm.
at the very house that I visit all the time. And I was like,
Say what?
is that you, Pop Pop?
Pop,
And
pop, pop. Because it's the
yes,
great
girl,
grandparent.
yes, Pop Pop Pop. And so I decided that I was going to grow these sweet potatoes because for me, a part of finding my focus and being passionate about what I do and getting clarity on what I'm doing is recognizing who I am and where I came from. And that where I came from is very personal.
Mhm.
Grandparents, great grandparents. Um, yes. So that is Eugenia Ann,
Right.
Gladys, Virginia Jenkins, Mama May. That is who I talk
Right.
to when I need to work it out. And so getting closer to where I came from, I decided I was going to grow sweet potatoes. These sweet potatoes show out.
I've seen this sweet potato harvest.
These sweet
Do
potatoes.
y'all see how excited she getting about these?
No, let me. Well, so let
Do
me
you
say
see
this.
how excited she
Let
getting
me
about this?
say it wasn't only about the sweet potatoes and how productive they were, but I had to dig in the actual dirt. Like all my other crops that I grew a lot of crops this summer. I grew watermelon, I grew corn, um, peppers, tomatoes, zucchini. All of those things grew on plants above the ground. These
Mhm.
sweet potatoes you had to go a hunting for. You had to dig in the dirt with your hands. And number one, I felt like a kid, and it was like play because I got to dig in the dirt. And
Mhm.
then not only did I get to dig in the dirt, which I didn't even know I really, really like to do that bad, but I was finding these clusters of sweet potatoes, and sweet potatoes come on vines. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a cluster of potatoes, and they're wrapped in a circle, but you can lay them out in a line. So I was digging for treasure, and I was finding these clusters of sweet potatoes where I put these plants, and it was the most gratifying thing that I had
I can
done to
imagine that.
that point.
Yes.
Some of them were huge, some of them were just babies, and they were so sweet. I won't ever, ever, ever eat another sweet potato from the grocery store. Not never. I'm not gonna buy it. So that's what I'll say. I'm not gonna buy another sweet potato. Ain't no need. Why would I do it? And so
Right.
I still have some from that harvest that I'm
Wow.
still eating on.
Do you freeze them? How do you keep
No,
them?
so you keep them in a dark, dry space.
Okay.
So I keep them in my washroom, which is like the cellar of my house.
Okay. And they just keep.
They just keep. It's cool. It's dry. They happy. I need a root cellar, so that's next. But that's a lot. That's when I really am on the farm, because now I understand how people grew crops, and those crops got them through the whole winter.
And so tell me about a root cellar.
So a root cellar is under the earth, and so
Uh-huh.
it's keeping everything from spoiling. It's keeping it chilly. It's
So
keeping
you
it
just
fresh. It's like a
you keep crops
refrigerator, a
there or
earth
you grow
refrigerator.
crops there?
No, you keep your harvest there.
Oh, okay. You keep your harvest there.
Hmm.
So like after like before the cold settles in,
Hmm.
you gather up the rest of the crop
And put it in your root
and you
cellar
put
for the
it in your
winter.
root cellar.
Hmm. I mean, cause pop ain't have no freezer.
Right. Right.
Mm-mm.
He used the cool dry place.
Girl, he used the root cellar.
It's a root cellar.
Hmm. Cause the root
I'm
vegetables
getting an
go there. That's
education.
where the root vegetables go.
That's where the root
And that's
vegetables
why we
go.
eating potatoes in the wintertime. Because that's what we got, child.
Cause she ain't buying no more potatoes from the
Not no
market
more potatoes and not no more beets.
or beets.
I don't know what else go down there, but I know they go there.
Right. Radish.
Girl,
Right.
radishes.
Or any kind of
Hmm.
potato. Right. Oh, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
it's so the sweet potato pies this holiday time were immaculate, delicious, because they were from homegrown sweet potatoes. I can't even say enough about that. I don't know. Just do it. You got some space. You got a bucket. It's just
Right.
you got a bucket. Just grow something. What's your favorite vegetable? Just grow it.
I'm growing this
Just
year.
grow it.
I
Just buy.
literally thought about what my garden is
Just grow
going to look
it.
like this year.
Tell me about it,
Yeah. So definitely sunflowers. I didn't get to my
girl.
sunflowers
Yes.
last year, but we're doing sunflowers. I don't have a big garden box in the back, but I just want to try something. I
Hmm.
love peppers. So
Yeah.
like green pepper, yellow pepper, red pepper.
Hmm.
Like that's something that like I always buy from the
Yes.
market.
And they are expensive in the market.
They are so
Yes,
expensive
they
in the market,
are. They
especially the
are
color
raping us in the market with those peppers.
right, especially
Mm.
the color peppers.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. And so I would love to do that. I remember, I don't know, I learned from the edible garden that tomatoes are probably the easiest thing to grow that
Mhm.
don't necessarily also get eaten by wildlife.
Girl, they get these ugly things though called horn hornworms.
Oh, we're going to find out what a hornworm is, y'all.
I ran up on one of these.
Peach said she's going to try growing sweet potatoes. She's done
Yes.
tomatoes and they taste very different from the grocery store.
Oh, yes, they do.
Um,
Those are something else I won't buy from the grocery anymore. This
and
is a hornworm.
right.
Okay. So this
Oh,
are what I mean, and I'm not discouraging you from growing tomatoes, do it.
right.
But these bugs, they like tomatoes. And so what they do, you see these white things right here?
Uh-huh.
Those are wasps. So wasps lay their eggs in hornworms.
Oh, where can we show on here?
Wasps
Can y'all
lay
see
their
this?
eggs in
Y'all gotta
hornworms.
Google
You got it,
hornworms.
yes. And then the wasp babies eat the hornworm for their first nutrition.
Oh my
So they
gosh.
eat the horn.
Are
The
y'all getting this
hornworm
education?
gives its life for sacrifice so that the wasp will live. Do you hear
You
this?
can't hear it. So it's a green one. Y'all see? Oh, she got the zoom in. So it's these white things on the top.
Those are wasp eggs,
Those are wasp
larva.
eggs.
Yes,
Larva.
and these hornworms are so ugly.
They are
And
ugly.
they are so ugly when you come up on them in your garden, and they like tomatoes, but you just gotta push beyond the fear.
They be on the tomato.
They be on the tomatoes.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, mate, you know,
Google
not all
hornworms.
tomatoes,
Y'all.
but it happens.
Yeah.
I've come across a
These
yeah.
I didn't see. I did, you know,
They
I
mean.
visited the
They
herbal
not
garden.
mean, they nice, but they ugly.
They ugly.
Oh, Shaisha, they ugly.
Oh, you
And they
had
big.
hornworms.
I
in your-
did.
Oh, they
Mhm.
big.
I mean, I think this is big.
Yeah,
It's big. Yeah.
Come on.
The first year
That's
I
the
was
thing.
very strong.
I'm not really built for the wildlife. That's the thing
Yeah,
with
it
me.
gets tricky, but you
Yeah.
will. You'll like hit
Alright.
it and run, or you'll like cut it and close your eyes and take, you know, and trash
Mhm.
it because you worked so hard for this thing to grow.
Right, right.
And
Working
in all
for growth.
fairness, this hornworm is gonna die because the wasps are gonna eat it alive.
But
It's
we-
gonna die,
but
but you need
wasps.
to get rid of it.
I mean, but wasps.
Yeah,
though.
so you need to get rid
Like I feel like that's something you don't want.
of it. You don't want it.
You don't want a
And you
whole
don't
bunch
want
of
to be
wasps.
eye to eye with this hormone.
I know, and I think I got a wasp, like nest,
Oh,
like
no.
somewhere over my front, like the front of my house, like over my bedroom window, because that's been a thing,
Yeah.
like ever since I've been in that house. The wasps, okay, and I always get at least one or two wasps in the house, like in my room.
In my space.
like in
And
like
they
in my
in my
closet, like right over my
Yes.
walk-in closet. Like that's where I get the wasps. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Peach was saying that she finds planting to be a peaceful space, and she
do.
planted a peach tree once.
Oh,
Huh,
yay.
I wonder why you did that. Maybe because they call you Peach.
Yes. Yes.
But yes.
Do you have peaches? Does it produce fruit?
Produce peaches. That's what I really want, a fruit tree. I want
Yeah.
3 types of trees. I want a fruit tree, a palm tree, and a evergreen tree. Like a tree that stays green all year round. And I really like the way the holly trees look.
Yeah.
Holly.
I don't know much about fruit bearing trees.
Mhm.
I do remember my grandfather telling me that pear trees needed to be they needed 2 of them in order to produce fruit.
Really?
So you needed
Getting
a
the
male and a
education,
female.
y'all.
But
Started burning a few years ago. She needs to get back at it. See,
Yes,
Alexis,
get
you
back
came
at
to the
it.
right place.
you at the
Now,
right
let's-
place.
Alexis, she said she tried gardening twice in her life, and she needs to get back to it. And
Yeah.
it saves a lot of money, and it's soothing and rewarding when you
It
see the
saves
fruits
so
of your
much.
labor.
It saves so much money.
Everybody's about to be a farmer.
It saves so much money.
Queen
If you
Lena
are
is. I
buying
mean,
fruit.
everybody's going to be a farmer because
I
of Queen
mean,
Lima.
If you're buying
We're going to build
vegetables, let's
build
go.
a farm
We could build a garden bed. We could
and
start there
garden. Yeah.
and garden.
Maybe I should extend my garden bed because I feel like it's not very big.
It's gonna do exactly what you need it to do.
Okay.
Don't worry.
And I need the chicken wire. I remember we
Keep
talked
stuff
about
out.
that. Yeah,
Mhm.
because we got wildlife in
Yeah.
my
I'm
neighborhood.
gonna have to
This
contend with that,
I
thank
live
goodness,
like
strangely.
near a creek. So I don't know if that's the reason why, or if we just invaded their territory.
Right.
But there's deer, there's skunk,
Oh.
there's possum, there's raccoon, there's wildlife,
Right.
y'all.
I feel like you
There's
named a few.
fox. Like there's wildlife where I live,
Yes.
and I feel like I don't even live in the bougie part. Like I live, like
Yes.
2 blocks from the city. Maybe 3. I don't know. But between me and West Philly, there's a large area. There's not large, but there's some wooded area.
Mhm.
and there's definitely a creek.
Yeah,
So I feel like
they're
the
living there.
wildlife
Yes.
gravitates around that.
That's okay. We can keep them out.
Yeah, but
Grow,
I've
just
sat in
grow
my car.
something.
I've seen this neighborhood skunk quite a few times. I don't know
Yeah.
how we got skunk, but there's a skunk, y'all, living in
Mm.
Upper Darby.
Beware.
Beware. And I've sat in my car and tried not to make my car
Oh,
move or
yikes.
scare it because
Yeah,
I don't want them to
yeah.
spray under my car. I've
Yeah,
waited.
they are scary. They
I'll
are
be like, you
spooky.
just go.
I will be
I'm gonna
done.
let you live, and I'll just wait.
I
I'll
don't
wait.
blame you. I don't want to be.
Yeah,
I don't want to be sprayed by a skunk, but I want to be outdoors a lot.
yeah. You got me. You choose your battles.
I do, and I know it's a risk I take.
Choose your battles and pick your struggles. You know. I've seen somebody play with a fox on my block. I've seen I've seen quite a few possums. The skunk, I think that's the
I
same
haven't
skunk.
seen a possum in a long time.
I've seen quite a few possums.
I'm not asking for any,
I don't really see much
but I haven't seen one.
raccoon in my
Mhm.
neighborhood. I see them actually more in the city.
Yeah.
Um,
I think secretly they were living in all these abandoned homes, and now that all this construction is going on,
right,
we are uplifting their homes.
right. There was a family of raccoon that lived right across the street from my parents' house.
Do you know what my sister told me?
What?
I'm telling on you, sis, about raccoons. That there is a raccoon that clearly lives in her roof.
Uh-huh.
And she said, I'm not calling animal control because they just trying to have somewhere warm to live.
Oh, God bless her. God bless her.
She
Because my
is a
brother
total
called
animal
animal.
person. She has two cats, a dog. She just loves the animals. And she said, "Oh, I hear them. I heard them last winter, and I heard the babies when the babies was born."
Oh, snap. There's too many of y'all now.
She said, "But I am not going to disturb them because they have not tried to come through my house yet.
Right.
They and everybody looking for somewhere warm to be in the winter." Now she said they don't come in her space during the summer, and she doesn't find them to be a bother because it's cold outside.
Okay.
What?
That's a whole rodent
What?
living in your house.
What?
My brother called the people on the squirrels.
What? I was
Yo,
like, you haven't called the people?
they called the
She
people.
was like, no. They just looking for a place to be
God
warm.
bless her. I'm so
She gonna take care of my
happy.
sheep, okay? Because I
Right.
don't want to take
The
care of no
sheep.
sheep, but I promise you, I'm gonna have a farm. That's who gonna do that.
And it's going
The
to
one
have
who not
sheep.
calling the people on the raccoons.
Right.
Girl, this is a family affair.
My brother called the people on the squirrels. Yo, my brother John, he always gets squirrel. But every place he's lived,
They like him.
he's had squirrel. Like in his attic or crawl space. Every place he's lived. I'm like, you dealing with animals again?
Mm.
That's a whole new house, dog.
What you got that the
I
squirrels
know
like?
that the squirrels what. So yeah, he called the people on the squirrels. He finally caught one, but he think it's another one.
It is because when you see one, there are
Right.
many.
No,
That's what they say.
no, yeah. I ain't
I hope it's just
the
one, John. I
wildlife,
hope you
y'all.
got it.
So if you're going to urban garden, you need to be concerned.
You do. We're gonna get some chicken wire.
About the wildlife. And Queen
And try
Lena
to
told
keep
me
'em
about the
down.
chicken wire. And
We
I'm
gonna
gonna
try
and
it.
I say this every year, but I'm gonna get started with my garden early
Yes,
this
April.
year.
April.
April.
Because we'll get the rainy season.
Yeah.
And you won't have to do so much watering with the sunflowers minimally.
Right.
Let's get them in.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll get
After
them
the
in.
frost.
We'll
It's
get them
gone.
in. And we're gonna build a gate.
We need a gate.
We need a gate
Yes.
still. It's the
Yes.
same
Okay.
raggedy gate.
That gate's hanging on.
It's
y'all.
serving a
If
purpose.
you've been there, you've seen it.
You seen this raggedy gate. And
you
now,
might have been injured by it.
right. Because it's
Not really. Barely.
somebody called me and
You know how
said
to do.
after one of my parties they went and got tetanus shot.
So, a nail sticking out that gate. You gotta be careful.
You gotta be careful. I
When you-
tell people when the people
Be
come
careful. You
to
know
check on
where
my
you at.
kids, I'll be like, watch the raggedy gate when you come in.
You know, come on, y'all.
They know the kids know to check the gate.
That's
You
right.
need to know to check the gate
Check
too.
the gate.
So
For
the gate is
nails,
raggedy.
rusty ones.
Tetanus shot. My bad, y'all. Queen Machete's in the building.
Hi.
And so now the little gate, so not where you walk into my back, but you know
Yes.
where you walk in for the downstairs.
Mhm.
I need that too.
That gate acted up.
It's I don't know how they deal with it, but yeah. We gotta
I
fix
haven't
that
even
gate
seen
too.
this gate.
So the gate is just completely off the hinge. They
Oh,
just take and
they
move
just-
it, but they
okay.
put it back.
What? What? It's a prop? Is that what
they
you're saying?
they still.
Well, it
I
looks
understand,
secure, so the
right?
look
Because
will
you don't
get
want
you a
people to
long
just
way.
roll up on
You're
your
right. It's
space
a gate here,
or
dog.
our space, right?
Sight.
So it could,
Really not.
and I want to be a better landlord, so we gotta fix the gate.
Okay.
And I want to be a better host and
One thing
mom
at a
and
time.
homeowner, so I gotta
Mhm.
fix the big
Yeah.
gate too.
Yes. Because tetanus is real.
It's real.
Shots.
Somebody the next
them.
day they was like, "Oh, I didn't know if you knew about this nail sticking out your gate, but I had to get a tetanus shot." Queen Lena's gonna help me with the gate, y'all.
I know.
She want
We
to help.
should get
Yeah,
that squared away.
yeah. She had a
'Cause
lot.
it's
She was
dangerous. I
like
know it's dangerous.
doing classes and
was
being in
doing.
exhibits and gardening and stuff. And so I was like, I'll wait for the
Mhm.
gate.
Let me tell you how I have two children, aged 21 and 22. And this
Do y'all
is
believe it? I don't believe it. She does. One's about to graduate college. I
in
spoiled
May.
it. Spoiler
In
alert.
May. In
She's
May.
graduating college in May.
Yeah, so if you
Been
see
there
me
for 4
around town
years.
eating peanut butter and jelly, I'm just paying off college loans that don't belong to me. So I'm fine.
I'm fine. She says.
So this has been the most, I'm not sure if I want to call it the most challenging, but I think it has been the most emotionally challenging year we've had at 21 and 22 because they are grown-ups by definition, period. And I'm a mom of grown-ups. However, they are still in need of lots of support, little guidance, and a little piece of me like, is this over already? When do
Right.
they really move on and become grown-ups? And the other part
I
of
don't
me
think
is
it
like,
ever.
no, it doesn't. Well, see, my
Okay,
experience
ever.
was different,
Right.
so I don't know. And
Right.
so now I know.
Yeah.
I'm so tired, and I'm trying not to become an alcoholic.
Oh. Now
So
we get to the
pray for me.
nitty gritty.
You pray, you pray your warriors. You pray for me.
It's
you
time for the show
meditators.
to end, and now
Yes,
we get to
you-
the
you
nitty gritty.
meditate. Well, I mean,
Right.
the nitty gritty is that regardless of that, I have been working on my dreams and passions to make sure that I am happy in the inside, so I can still be that lady for them.
Amen.
Amen.
That's the growth part. Remember that I told you the gems that she going to drop, like when I think I'm a grown up, and then she come through like,
Wait till they get big.
if I follow my dreams,
Mhm.
I can still
Then I'm happy inside.
manifest
Yes, I can.
happiness.
And then I don't feel worn down, beat down,
Right.
because I'm still growing.
That I do understand.
So it's okay.
Yes. That I do understand.
They are just different challenges and ones that I could have never foreseen coming.
Or any of it.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think we're really prepared for any of it. It's
thought
like
they go
prepared versus
away.
ready or ready versus
I don't
prepared. I
know.
don't know. One or the other is like not being manifested
It's not.
at the time. Like
But
you
do
be
your best.
prepared, but you don't be ready. You be ready, but you don't be
I
prepared.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's me all the time.
I
Like any
appreciate
given
that.
moment. Like
Okay.
I think prepared is like when you know, like you're awaiting for something to occur,
Mhm.
but then when it happens, you ain't ready.
Mhm. I didn't know what this was gonna look like.
Right.
And
And I
I'm
think
like,
ready is when you're like waiting
yes,
for that thing
yes,
to happen. Like, I know something about to
yes.
happen, but then it happens and you're like, oh, what I'm supposed to do?
I was
I wasn't prepared.
I wasn't prepared. Something happened. I wasn't prepared.
Something
However,
happened.
they have been the best supporters of me. And so
Indeed.
that for me that reads that I did something good
Right.
because they know they are sensitive to what I'm doing and aware and able to give me positive feedback and yes, usable feedback to what I'm doing.
I know we have to close out, but
Oh
I feel
yeah.
like
We
that's
should
the
meet
goal.
again.
We are going to meet. I mean,
Just to do this.
I
I mean, we
know.
did so much. We should do this
Whatever.
again.
A lot. It's
Okay.
been like 2 hours. It's been a long time. It just on the air, you know. But I feel like that's the isn't that the goal, like to just have this self gratification, like as a mother, like, oh, I did something right,
I didn't know, Seisha.
or I did what I was supposed to do.
I didn't know what I was going. I didn't really know what my ending goal was. I
Mhm.
just knew that the immediate goal was to make sensitive, empathetic, responsible people.
Human beings.
Yes.
That's it.
That was my goal daily to make sure that they were those things and kind. And
Mhm.
so the end result for me, the end result has been that they are all of those things towards me, which I didn't know what that looked like and I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
So now it's like a present and it's a surprise every time.
Amen.
Amen.
Lena is going to be my co-host. They said, bring her back as a guest. She is awesome.
Yes.
They want Queen Lena.
Yes.
Yes, always. Well, Queen Lena, I said top 3 favorite queens next to my mama and
Awesome.
my grandmama. I love her so much. We always have these dope ass conversations
We
on
really
and
do.
off the air. We do. Even if it's a simple
Yeah.
text, even if it's 2 seconds or 2 hours, it's the same quality. So I am so grateful
Thank you.
for our connection. I'm
Thank you,
so
friend.
grateful to be able to witness your growth, for
Yes.
you to share this piece of you with me and with the world.
Yes. Thank you for having
Right
me.
now.
I'm
Thank
so
you
happy
so
to
much.
spend some time with you.
I know. And this is how we have to
That's what the
do it.
bottom line.
I know.
Yes, I was like, girl, I ain't seen her in a minute. I'm getting there. Me, you need some
Little bit of
company. I'm
time.
coming.
Yes, and
That's
I
yes.
appreciate it. So we're gonna close it on out because we have Queen Machete rolling up, and I really have to go to the bathroom. I
Yes.
don't know if y'all peeped all this that we drank. I got to go like now, and I heard some commotion going on in there. I probably
They
got to deal with that
ready.
too. So Philly, please take us out because I'm literally like about to run out the store.
Okay.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Queen Network. I am your host, Queen Fierce, right here on A Radio. Yay!
You're listening to Queen Fierce on the Queen Network right here on aradio.com. Thanks for tuning in each and every Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Hey.